What's up, guys? It's Outcast back again for another video. Today we'll be doing another episode of Shooting the Shit. So, today is January 11th of 2021, which means I have been officially out of the Marine Corps for 1 year. And like every military veteran and military veteran content creator, I'm going to exploit the fuck out of it by making a video. So, this video kind of tackles some tough subjects. There's not going to be a lot of funny stuff going around. So if this triggers anybody or, for whatever reason, any of what I say kind of triggers you into like state of anxiety or whatever, I'm going to leave the veteran hotline on screen and in the description below. But more importantly, rely on your homies, rely on your bros, rely on your family, because sometimes these type of issues can't be dealt with alone. Please, before you make a permanent decision for a temporary problem, please reach out to anybody. We're more than likely all more than happy to help because we don't want to see your brother down. So, let's get it started. Today I'll be joined by my trusty Mango Truly because I literally have nothing else better worth of substance in my fridge. So, let's get it started. So, I guess I should start with when I officially got my DD-214, which was December 13th of 2019, because I still had about 30 days worth of terminal leave yet. I come home to not so much of a hero's welcome. It was kind of disappointing, actually. It fucking sucked because, like, nobody came to receive me at the airport. They were waiting for me in the car, and it was just, like, my sister. So it was kind of shitty that my mom wasn't there. That kind of fucking sucked. Again, I don't mean to be a whiner, but sometimes, like, the little things that matter. Make our way to my parents' house where we're going to stay in the basement for the time being because that was kind of the plan until we get back on our feet. Luckily, we had some money saved, so we were able to do, some stuff. We were going to get a storage unit for our furniture, move our car, etc., etc., etc. So, we spent the holidays. They weren't that great. My dad came from Virginia. He was doing some schooling. And honestly, it wasn't that great. It was kind of disappointing. We're used to loud and very big holiday family gatherings. It was just kind of like the six of us eating food, getting dressed nicely for stupid ass Facebook pictures, and looking at each other's faces. So we already started off on the wrong foot, pretty much. So I haven't received the money from VA yet. That's still pending. I haven't started school. I started with the process. And January 11th comes around, and it's the end of my contract. So I'm officially no longer getting paid by the Department of Defense. Which I'm like, well, fuck, what do I do now? Because I hadn't found the job yet. My wife hadn't found the job. It was a little bit rough still. So the problems are already stacking up. The odds are already kind of like against me in that matter because I have everything to lose and nothing to gain yet. And February comes around, and my mom tells me that she wants to separate from my dad. And I'm like, oh, okay, great, dope. I'm like, whatever, I respect you. You do what you got to do. You're an adult. Whatever, you make your own decisions. Do what you want to do. Just keep me the fuck out of it. Something that they did not do in the fucking least. And just a disclaimer, like, I'm not telling these stories to kind of bash on my parents online or do that stupid shit. I'm simply telling those events so I can illustrate how those events kind of impacted my mental well-being and mental health because I was really struggling the early part of 2020. It was really bad. I'll get into it more as the video goes on. My mom tells my dad that she doesn't want to be with him. He's still in Virginia at this point because he still had to finish his schooling. So I'm here kind of dealing with that awkwardness. And then my dad comes home and they're, it's weird. It's weird. They were arguing, obviously, all the time. And unfortunately, I was in the center of all that shit. All of it. I had to hear it, unfortunately. And it sucked, man, because I didn't want to be in the middle of that shit, but unfortunately, I had no choice. I put my wife in that, which made me feel like a piece of shit, because I'm like, fuck, she has nothing to do with this, and I put her in the middle of this fucking drama, when for the last like 4 years we had like almost no drama in our lives. It was dope. We come back home immediately into bullshit. So I'm like, awesome, great. Again, my finances weren't still coming yet. Like it was, I think mid-February when my disability was officially approved and was in the system and getting paid. It took actually until March to get the first paycheck because it takes a little bit. Then my wife got a job, which was better. You know, we were kind of moving along, but there was still a lot of tension in that house. A lot of fucking tension. And you gotta understand, like, I'm getting used to being in the civilian world and getting accustomed to how civilian life is. You know, it was a really, really difficult transition for me. And I wasn't even in combat or nothing like that. I didn't do 20. I just did 4. And it was still it still is. It's still a challenge every day having to deal with fucking civilians and, you know, how to act like a civilian and shit like that. So it's tough. And then COVID hits. And we're in the middle of quarantine in my house with my parents that they're fucking constantly arguing because they're gonna get separated. At that point, it was already decided divorced. Because my dad wasn't having none of that shit. So they were officially getting divorced during COVID and they were stuck in the same fucking house. Not living in the same room, like it was just weird, bro. And it was just so much tension. Like you could fucking cut it with a knife. It was terrible. Which didn't do anything good for my mental health because I was like, got to a point where I wasn't sleeping right. Like, I had, I think, what's it called? Restless leg syndrome. Like, my legs were fucking shaking at night. I was paranoid all the time. Like, I don't know. Like, it was just slowly breaking me down, which was terrible. And then comes the day before Mother's Day, and my dad decides to throw my mom out of the house. Which was really, really tough. So yeah, so my dad decides to kick my mom out of the house for whatever the fucking reason. I still don't know why. He just got tired and said, you need to, like, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Go stay with a friend, do whatever. I freaked the fuck out. I absolutely fucking lost it. Like, I lost my fucking mind. Like, you can ask, I was literally banging my head against the fucking wall. I was so angry because I wanted to kill this man. I wanted to fuck his ass up. Just for doing that because we were, like the day before Mother's Day, we're at the dinner table. He's quiet and awkward as fuck. And then he goes up and loudly argues to my mom that he has to leave. While I'm still fucking trying to cope with all this bullshit going around. So I freaked the fuck out. I was literally hitting my head against the wall. Crying. Absolutely freaking the fuck out. Like, my wife is trying to, like, call my sisters to see if they can get me out of the house. Because I was, like, losing my marbles. My mom and dad had literally a screaming match. Like, we lived in the basement and in the kitchen. They were having a fucking screaming match. In an argument. And my dad got, like, aggressive. I don't know if he was going to put his hands on my mom. He didn't. Like, he's not capable of that. But at the moment, I wasn't thinking rationally, y'all. Like, I literally had a knife in my pocket just in case. Because if he touched my mom, I was going to fuck his ass up. I was that far gone at that point. I was like, after that, I was like officially depressed. It was horrible. He finally kicks my mom out of the fucking house. I'm stuck having to deal with him after that bullshit. I started school, which was keeping me busy. I was working out, which was also keeping me kind of sane. That kind of helped me ease some of my tension through working out at the house, even though we're still technically in quarantine. So my excuse was, I gotta do school, I gotta work out. It was kind of like I literally avoided every encounter with my father that I could. Because I was just not about it. You know, he was complaining all the time. He would use me as like his fucking therapist. My mom would use me as her therapist when I fucking specifically told them, leave me the fuck out of it. It was tough. It was really, really tough having to be the mediator. I felt like I was a ham of a sandwich. I was getting hit from both sides. Some other bullshit happened with my grandma and my aunt. It was just bad. That was literally like my breaking point. I done it. I was done. And then, you know, time went on and I was still, you know, getting used to, you know, my mom not being home. Again, I'm hearing her fucking complaints. I'm hearing his fucking complaints. They're talking shit about each other, left and right. Like, it was bad. I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to hear any of that. That wasn't doing me any good, and they didn't take me into consideration at all. I think they were just focused on what they were fucking feeling and they were going through, and they said, "Fuck you. I know you just came back. I know you just transitioned. You're trying to get a hold of yourself and get stabilized. We're gonna throw our problems on top of you because fuck you." That's how I felt. And I wasn't doing good at all. My mom thought like my dad was suicidal. Little did she know I was the one that was fucking contemplating it. Little did she fucking know that I decided I wanted to end it, but I never did it because I think I was just too pussy. Honestly, I was too pussy to commit, so I never did it. My wife knows this. My wife was the one that kind of helped me maintain my sanity during this. Yeah, my wife truly was one of the few people that kept me sane. My sisters tried. They really didn't know what was going on because I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my friends. I didn't tell my bros. Like, I just kind of sucked it up and dealt with it because that's what I thought I should do. I'm carrying everybody's burdens. I even told my mom in a conversation, I feel like I have everybody's weight on my shoulders. I have yours, I have dad's, I have the girls, I have cats, but nobody seems to have mine. Like, I have everybody's problems on my shoulders, but nobody seems to have mine. Like, I'm everybody's therapist, but nobody can sit down and listen to me because they're all caught up in you're all caught up in your own bullshit to fucking listen to me. And I felt fucking hopeless. I felt absolutely hopeless. Luckily, the best outlets for me were working out, doing school, and eventually doing YouTube. That's one of the reasons why I kind of started it, to keep me busy and kept me going even though I didn't have a job. Yeah, but I was like, I was over the edge. I was about done. My mom had given my dad's guns to me to keep him in the basement, and I would literally sit at night looking at him, contemplating, offing myself because I was dunsky. So let me see. I actually ended up calling VA and scheduled my appointment for behavioral health because I was like, I need this. I want to deal with my issues. There's a lot going on. Then and that those it was like monthly appointments. It was over the phone, but it was still great to be able to vent and know that nobody was gonna judge me about it. I could say whatever the fuck I wanted and whatever was in my heart, and nobody would judge me about it. They would actually try to help me and give me tips to how to cope with it, which was great. And then I started YouTube because I was bored. I was thinking, watch my last video where I explained why I started YouTube. But I started doing it. I liked it. It kept me busy. It kept me like intrigued because I wanted to learn more and more. I still do. So essentially, I wanted like an outlet to put my focus on rather than focusing on the negativity that was in my dad's household because of the whole separation and bullshit. Eventually, I got a job, which was great. Ironically, through my mom. I ended up getting my dog, who's a little turd, but I love him with all my heart because he's helped me so much when it comes to coping and just, I guess, my general sadness, because I could be having the worst day of my life and I could come back and I see his goofy ass face going like this, looking at me, and everything was alright. Like, all my troubles are gone, which is great. I love that dog, man. And then I started getting a lot of traction with the YouTube thing. I was really enjoying it. School was doing great. And then come late November, and it's no secret now, I found out I was going to be a dad, which I was fucking terrified in the beginning. Absolutely scared shitless. I still am, but I'm more hopeful. But I was absolutely scared because I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm 24. I have no experience. Like, how the fuck am I going to be a father? But that fear literally lasted for one day. Next day, I was good and I was happy and I was excited. And I can't wait for my baby to be born. So that was, in the beginning, it was kind of negative because it hit me really hard, and then it turned into a positive. And then we cap off the year with spending the holidays at my in-laws, which I actually have been arguably the best Christmas I've had in years, to be honest. I'm not even I'm not even gonna lie about that. I've never laughed so hard in my life, and I really needed those. I really needed that vacation, and I told my mother-in-law too, that I really needed it. And that's it. And then here we are today, in January 11th, 2021, for a full year after I officially separated from the Marine Corps. It was a fucking roller coaster of emotions. Uh, there were times that were rough, times that were good, but you know, that was 2020 for most people. Uh, I'm sorry for getting really dark. Again, I skimmed over a lot of shit because I'm not gonna tell everything that happened, but just like a basic summary. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry it was kind of dark in the beginning, um, but it got well at the end. I hope you guys liked this segment. I enjoyed because I like to talk shit. Obviously, that's why it's called shooting the shit. I like to tell stories. Eventually, will end up doing more that are humorous. I'll tell stories about the military experiences and stories and shit like that. I just wanted to, since it was kind of like a special occasion, I wanted to actually talk about my year. To anybody that's struggling, uh, but like mental wise, about your mental health, please, fuck, reach out to somebody, man. Reach out. The last thing we need, we don't want you to be a part of the 22. I almost was, and I regret even fucking thinking that. You know what I'm saying? So please reach out. Find hobbies, find outlets that'll make you be productive and help you cope with it. For me, working out was a lifesaver. School kept me busy, and YouTube was great too. So please, reach out to somebody. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. We'll see what 2021 brings us. It's looking good so far, at least not in the U.S. wise, but for me, I started off on the right foot. So let's keep this momentum going, and I hope everybody has a great and successful 2021. We'll see what this year brings us. Have a great day, guys.